Hey, Airman Negrete, welcome to one of the first episodes of what we're calling On Target with the Bullseye Chief. It's an effort to present a venue in which airmen in the 57th Wing can connect with the mission of the 57th Wing, the leadership of the 57th Wing, and each other. So the idea here is we talk to you about what you do in the 57th Wing and how you're connected to the mission. And maybe somebody from the MXG watches this and goes, oh, there's somebody who does this, and maybe they get them interested in asking more questions, and just builds another way to build connection between airmen. Because, I personally can't get out to every airman all the time. And in fact, I'd be hard pressed to see every single airman in this wing's face in the entire time that I'm here as a command chief. And one of General Goodman's priorities is connecting with airmen. So what I'd like to do is start out by just you introducing yourself, what you do in the 57th Wing, and then I'll ask you some more questions.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good. So my name is Sergeant Negrete, and what I do at the 57th Wing is I do a lot of the paperwork behind the scenes. So I do a lot of routing the OPRs and EPRs, routing awards and editing those as well, and then preparing decorations and retirement certificates,
Right.
as well as a lot of additional duties like facility manager, UFAC. There are a lot to.
You do this as the 57th Wing WSA, which is the wing staff agency. So for the whole wing is basically what you do this for.
Yes, sir.
And in a 3-person shop, which actually right now it's more or less a 2-person shop with a reservist on MPA days, because manning's been an issue. So how have you found when you onboarded with us the workload with all the extra additional duties and all that stuff? How did you find that? Was that stressful? Was it difficult?
Yes, sir. I would say initially it doesn't seem like our office is in charge of a lot, but then you realize there's definitely a learning curve each time you move to a different CSS. There are different procedures for different duties, and then you pick up a lot of additional duties that you haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came in a few months before my eval went down, and we had to change the way that we were routing OPRs and EPRs. So there was a lot of fast adjusting that we had to do.
How was that time of your life, the whole my eval fiasco?
It was stressful, but also realizing that everyone was kind of in the same boat made it a little less stressful. And then I think when we moved off of my eval and just started routing the evals through like old-fashioned way through the share drive, it was way more simple.
Yeah.
And straightforward.
You're right. Shared misery does go a long way to making you feel a little bit better about bad situations. So you recently had to take a break from your duties at the WSA to attend ALS. ALS has changed and evolved over the years quite a bit. What's your main takeaway? What was your main impression? And what was the main goodness of ALS for you?
I had a great experience with ALS. I heard in the past it was a lot more about marching and like how to write evals and things like that. But this time around it was actually more geared toward the conflict with Russia and China. Mm-hmm. So they actually did a lot of preparation for us, like just educating us and having us make presentations and educate each other on the different like threats that are coming up and how to be more prepared for that.
Yeah.
And then also one of my favorite things about ALS was networking, which I know everyone says, but
because it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was my favorite part of it.
So let me ask you this. How do you feel connected to the wider 57th Wing mission? And in your words, what do you think that 57th Wing mission is?
Yeah, I definitely feel more connected. And after ALS, seeing all the different, a lot of my class was maintainers, and then a few other AFSCs that were similar to mine. And it made me see the bigger picture. And I think the 57th Wing mission is to train and equip. Uh, so I did feel more connected to it.
Okay, good. If there was one thing that you've heard of in the 57th Wing, like a job out there or a thing that you haven't been able to see, that you would want to go see, whether that's I want to ride in a B-1 bomber, or I want to stand there when they out there on the line when they launch an F-35, or I want to have somebody walk me through while launching a jet or receiving a jet or whatever. What would that thing be? What thing in the back of your mind is, I wish I could just see what that's like?
Well, I would say I kind of have an idea of maintenance because my husband was a maintainer, so
Right.
I kind of have that, but not so much on the helicopter side. So maybe something to do with helicopters,
All right.
like how similar it is to launching jets.
Would you like to ride in a helicopter?
Yes, I would like to.
We
ride a
might be able to
helicopter.
make that happen. That would probably connect you even greater to the mission, I would think. If you, let me throw a scenario out. It's weapons school integration, which is their really busy time, right? Lots of missions launching, all that stuff, all integrating, all of these platforms integrating. And we get you linked up with the JTACs who are going to get inserted by helicopter from the 34th Whips out on the range to do a mission, or you just ride along if there's room with the 34th when they're running a mission, or we could get you on a rescue, maybe during a CSAR pickup or something like that. Is that something that would interest you?
Yes,
Okay.
that sounds amazing.
So here's the deal: if we do that, I'm going to have you back on target to talk about it.
Okay.
All right?
That sounds fair enough.
I got one last question for you, because we're running out of time probably by now. Recently, I believe we're out of Women's History Month or Women's Heritage Month. It's passed, but can we get your perspective on women in the military and how you feel part of that? How far it's come, and like the importance of celebrating that?
Yes, I think I'm extremely impressed by how far the Air Force has come. I think that it's become a lot more family friendly for women because it's a lot easier to be in any job as a father, I would say, than as a woman, because you have to like carry the baby. And I think that's been one of the most notable impacts for me and for my family, is that I've been able to have kids while in the military, and the Air Force has gone above and beyond to accommodate that. And I think that's evident through like the maternity leave and the new paternity leave policy. And I think in general, it's just like very progressive, and Chief Best, I think she has a big part of that too, being able to just...
We owe a lot of those steps to the Sword Athena initiative, which ACC spearheaded. And we have members in the 57th Wing who are active participants of the Sword Athena process, and we'll probably talk more about that in a future podcast with a member from the wing who's involved in that, because the paternity, that's a direct result of that, as well as like female fitment of uniforms and stuff. So if in your mind, we'll make this the ending point. We mentioned all the progress that's been made. What's missing? Is there something on your mind that, as far as women in the military, what's the next step? What's something that could be fixed or you'd like to see addressed, if there's anything that you can think of?
That's a good question. I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
I've had a great experience, and I haven't witnessed any sort of discrimination. So I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay. Yeah, think about it and get back to me. But I want to thank you for agreeing to participate in this podcast and giving us your perspective and opinion. Thank you for your service, volunteering to join the Air Force and being a member of the Bullseye team. And it's awesome to work with you.
You too.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.